Luck is a matter of preparation meeting opportunity. Namaskar, welcome to Next IS. I hope you are doing well. In this video, we will cover major headlines of The Hindu, Indian Express, and Press Information Bureau. So, without wasting any time, let's start today's discussion. And first article talks about LPG price hikes because cost of liquefied petroleum gas has been hiked in last few years. Around 750 million Indians still use solid cooking fuels that are associated with innumerable health hazards. There are various schemes launched by the government of India to increase the uptake of LPG connections, and these schemes include Rajiv Gandhi Grameen LPG Vitrak scheme that was launched in 2009 to increase LPG distribution in remote areas. Direct benefit transfer for LPG under PEHL scheme was initiated in 2015, and Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana aimed to install LPG connections in 80 million below poverty line households by 2020. According to recent report by International Energy Analytics Agency (EMBER), India overtook Japan to become world's third largest producer of solar power. Data from Niti Aayog suggests that as of May 2024, solar power, while making up 18% of India's total installed electricity, made up only 6.66% of the power actually produced, reflecting the gap between potential and actuals. Globally, renewable sources of energy made up 30% of global electricity produced. And do you know, friends, at the United Nations COP28 Climate Change Conference, world leaders arrived at a historic agreement to triple the global energy capacity by 2030. And India is one of the few countries planning to triple renewable capacity by 2030. This article highlights the limitations of Vidal test, which is used to diagnose typhoid fever. Typhoid fever is a life-threatening infection caused by bacterium Salmonella typhi. It is usually spread through contaminated food and water, and its symptoms include high fever, stomach pain, weakness, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, or constipation. If left untreated, it can be life-threatening, and according to World Health Organization, 90 lakh people are diagnosed worldwide with typhoid fever every year, and 1.1 lakh die of it. In India, doctors use the Vidal test extensively to diagnose typhoid in both public and private sector. It was developed by a French physician, but it is no longer used in many countries because of its flaws. According to US and Australia, India's sugarcane subsidy broke WTO's norms. Both the countries argued that during all the 4 years, India's sugar subsidies crossed 90% of the value of production against the permissible level of 10%. And do you know, friends, each sugar season, India sets the fair and remunerative price for sugar cane, which is an administered price that effectively acts as a floor price for sugar mills to pay farmers for sugar cane. Malaysia is planning to introduce orangutan diplomacy in its relations with major palm oil importing countries like European Union and India. This initiative is similar to China's panda diplomacy. Talking about orangutans, they are the largest arboreal mammal, spending most of their time in trees, and they are only found in the wild on the islands of Borneo and Sumatra. IUCN Red List of Threatened Species classifies them as critically endangered species. Recently, Supreme Court ruled that despite an official marriage certificate, a Hindu couple before the court had never acquired the status of husband and wife. This ruling focuses upon various issues on registration and solemnization of marriage and its necessity. Talking about solemnization of marriage, it simply refers to the performance of an official marriage ceremony with appropriate rituals. And do you know, friends, marriage in India is largely governed through various personal laws and Special Marriage Act 1954. These personal laws are essentially practices ordained by a religion, with each religion having its own set of requirements for a marriage. For instance, for Hindu, marriage is sacrament, and rituals such as Kanyadan, Pani Grahana, and Saptapadi or other customs solemnize a Hindu marriage. And Section 7 of the Hindu Marriage Act codifies these requirements and names Saptapadi as an essential ritual. Next article talks about non-market economy status because Vietnam has been pushing US to change its non-market economy classification to market economy. Non-market economy classification allows the US to impose anti-dumping duties on goods imported from designated countries. And do you know, friends, in international trade, dumping is when a country's export prices are considered to be intentionally set below domestic prices, thereby inflicting harm to industries in the importing country. And anti-dumping duties essentially compensate for the difference between imported goods export price and their normal value. Next article talks about International Thalassemia Day, which was observed on 8th May. Theme of this year is Empowering Leaves, Embracing Progress, Equitable and Accessible Thalassemia Treatment for All. Talking about thalassemia, it is an inherited blood disorder caused when the body does not make enough of a protein called hemoglobin, which is an important part of red blood cell. And do you know, friends, red blood cells carry oxygen to all cells of the body, and oxygen is a sort of food that cell use to functions. So with this, let's conclude our today's discussion. Thanks for listening, and for regular updates, you can follow us on various social media platforms.